I'm Giovanni Mazzei, I'm the expert director of my family wines, and I'm very glad today that I'm presenting you our selections. My family are from Florence. We are growers in the Chianti Classico since the 1435. I'm actually the 25th generations of winemakers from Fonterutoli. Fonterutoli is all about Sangiovese, and we've been developing our own selections. We started 40 years ago, actually more now, time passed fast, 50 years ago, with selecting the best types of Sangiovese that were already growing in our state. Today we work with 36 different sub-varietals of the Sangiovese because we want to select from our selection. So we created a nursery project from where we select the best type of Sangiovese that goes across our state. We have such a big diversity with the different Cru, the different appellations under the Castello di Fonterutoli estate, that we really need to get the best combinations of locations with plots, exposure, altitude, type of soils, and the right type of Sangiovese. And that's the ultimate result, is our Grand Cru selections. And today I'd like to introduce you to our range. We got the Fonterutoli Chianti Classico, which is, for me, is the maximum level of drinkability with a good touch of complexity, with nice spices on the nose, a bit of flowers, and nice long finish, but with a great drinkability, always very silky. Then we have our Castello di Fonterutoli, which is probably the most representative wine of our state. It's a Cru from the vineyards of Fonterutoli. We are quite high in altitude, we are 470 meters from the sea level, so the wine is very tense. It's probably similar to what I define the crystal, like a nice glass of crystal. So it's very light in a way, but still with a lot of power. And you have the great silky tannins with good complexity in the nose, with a lot of spices and aromatics. And then we go on Vicarage. Vicarage is one of the Cru of the Castello di Fonterutoli. This wine, it's actually, the vineyards are in Castelnuovo Belardenga, and here is actually the southest point of our state, and the wine is more wider, more bigger shoulders, and with more, the flavors here are more mature type of fruit, so more raisin, but with incredible level of complexity and a really good structure. It's a wine with much bigger structure, and that's a wine that will needs different treatments in terms of vinification compared to the other wines. And then Badiola, which is our Cru from Radda, is the highest vineyards that we own, and here it's more about lightness, freshness, and higher level of fruit combined with aromatics and good level of spices. Again, here all wines have great silkiness in terms of tannins and really good drinkability. But Badiola, again, it's a vintage, it's a cuvée, but especially with 2017 vintage, where there is a good freshness based on the fact of where the grapes are from. And then we move to our IGT selections, Poggio Badiola, which is our everyday drinking expressions of the Chianti Classico. This probably have more Badiola in my veins than actual blood. I grew up with this wine. And then, which is a Sangiovese and Cabernet. And then Philip. Philip is a wine dedicated to our ancestor, Filippo Mazzei, who was the one who became friends with Thomas Jefferson, and he inspired Thomas Jefferson for the famous phrase, "All men are created equal," which refers to the life and happiness. And we had to dedicate a wine for him, and we made 100% Cabernet Sauvignon. It's a very particular Cabernet, more earthy, more mineral, less vegetable, and with a bit of exotic character with the oak treatments. It's a very interesting type of wines. I think it's a Cabernet very unique in itself because of this minerality and earthiness. Then we go to Concetto, which is our historical Super Tuscans. It's Sangiovese and Cabernet, mainly Sangiovese. Here it's a wine that really expresses the great blend of Sangiovese and Cabernet. So you have the elegance, the silkiness of the Sangiovese, with the character, with the with the structure of the Cabernet. It's a wine with great aging potential. It's a wine that it really express, I think, in its best way, what is the meaning of the Super Tuscans. And for us was the wine that and it has a lot of meaning in terms of research and a change in viticulture. That the first vintage was 1981. And then we go to the last wine, which is Siepi, which is the most important cru of our estate, a Sangiovese blend with a Merlot. There's a unique, just the blending makes this wine unique. It's a 50 Sangiovese and 50 Merlot. You got the brightness, the lightness of this unique Sangiovese that grows in Castellino and Chianti, in particular in Siepi, where you have this dynamic tannins combined with the Merlot, which is a pure exposure of black fruit. And then the wines show a lot of complexity with different spices, with a good elements of chocolate at the end. It's a wine that every time I drink it, you really feel immediately the power of the power of the Sangiovese, but with this roundness and the softness of the Merlot. Even if you can drink it, even if it's a young vintage, you really feel how well integrated is the wine with the oak and how much complexity this wine has. So it really every time you drink it, you realize how many layers this wine is built, and you always discover new flavors, and I find them endlessly entertainment. And that's what it's all about. I think Siepi is the wine that I like to spend time with the wine in my glass and as much as possible, and keep discovering and keep drinking it, and that's for me is the maximum level of entertainment. So Siepi is definitely the most important wines of our state, even if it's probably the youngest across the range. We first vintage in 1992, but that particular vineyard, it's owned by my family since the 1435 and documented it as a vineyard since 1461. So we haven't discovered anything. The DNA of Siepi, the particular vineyard, was recognized already so far ago. And today we're just crowning it, making more and more Siepi more and more stronger with his identity and his capacity of giving emotions.